I should go back to another league race. This time with DNS, and this time we are in Brazil. For the Brazilian Grand Prix, you can see that there is some rain around plus 45 at the end of the race. So that makes things very interesting, and it certainly made this qualifying quite difficult to kind of to judge and to really kind of to gauge really in terms of what tire to use. I had chosen the harder. I had planned it on supers, but I had chosen the harder compound in pre-qualifying just in case, and I thought to go out on a set of softs first. I decided that I wasn't going to. I decided I wasn't going to do the mediums. I was going to do the softs. Here's my medium lap. I invalidated the first one, and here we are coming across the line. And this is going to be actually. I thought this lap was okay. To be fair, it's a 7.9, I believe, on the soft. So that put me into fourth, and I really wanted to see kind of where things would go from here. I didn't want to just go out immediately on another set of supers, but I decided to eventually go on a set of supers. He would drop down to seventh, and just this is my second flying lap. I binned the first, not a bin. I cut turn 2 the first time, and you can see there I had the worst curve de sol in the world. So that kind of put me on the back foot kind of for the whole lap. I did catch up to. I caught up to some of what my lap, but you know, not enough to improve to go start on the super. So I'm going to be on the softs. Not what I wanted, because I had decided I kind of wanted to do a quick 2-stop before this rain, the supers to supers. But of course, whatever we were doing, it was all going to depend on when this rain actually came, and so that was the big thing. We had to kind of try and work around. So you can see the weather is going to 10 to 15 minutes, which works right into the wheelhouse of the softs. Supers not as much, but that would have only confirmed to me that the supers would have been fine. So anyways, here we go then. We're going to have 5 red lights, and away we go. I'm more than happy to stick where I am. So there's Adam behind, there's Scuba, there's Steve in front as well. So just going back nice and easily into turn 1. There's contact between a Renault and that is Swanee, and I think that he turned into Steve, and I think Adam got certainly we might have got hit in that as well. So that moves us up a position. We're in P6, and Carl behind in P7, Scuba in P6. He's the closest one, Scuba, on the softs. In terms of he's the furthest forward on softs. Everyone is in front of him. Bolt, Matt, etc. are on the super. So Sway as well. So that's kind of where we're at. It is just kind of try and keep the tires if possible. Just follow along. Basically, I'm happy to sit here basically in 6th place for as long until this rain comes or whatever the case may be. So that's kind of where I'm thinking was at this part of the race. A lap 4 then. Can we kind of see the field? It's kind of stretched a bit, obviously in the softs, dropping back a little bit. 1.1 seconds behind Scuba there, so he's got good pace at this phase. You can see the other guys up a little bit up the road, but sooner rather than later, those will eventually kind of fall back into me and Scuba, and whereas we're on the softs. So as you see it, but in lap 8, you see the rain at 10 to 15 minutes, which made me very, very nervous, and I was contemplating where to go on the set of supers, just in case. If it wasn't our 10-15 minutes, you can get these supers that are in 10 or 11 laps. I did so earlier in the practice session, so 10 minutes would be stretching me fine, but yeah, 15 I'm not sure, but anyway, we're going to carry on. Lap 9, we're coming through the end of sector 2, and you're going to see Scuba's going to veer off to the left and then reappear, and I've tried to get out of the way, got a penalty and into the wall. Damage in front of me had to, of course, let these cars go. I didn't want to rejoin unsafely. So let me explain what happened. On Stephen's TV, whoever, I think so, he said someone in his family, and there's no doubt. I don't disagree in the word. I don't think he's lying or anything like that. But so the story, so for someone in the family pull up YouTube it came up on his TV. He of course put him off. He went to the left, and when you go to that part of the left in Brazil, it resets you onto the track, and right in the middle of the race line, a dead stop. And I just got caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. Would he have ghosted? Probably, but I can't take that risk. Plus for all, I had a very little time to react to it, and instinct tells you if there's a car in front of you in like that, you have to get the hell out of the way, and you're not running to the back of that thing. He may have ghosted, but I don't know. He probably would have, but I can't take that risk, like, because this game is so tragic that you just can't take that risk. So, anyways, that cost us a lot of time. An unscheduled pit stop. Basically, I was debating it, but I haven't seen my tires earlier that lap, and kind of 40%, 50%. I felt okay to keep going for another little bit. So, anyways, but that made my mind up. Then obviously replace the wing and put on the supers. I just blitzed till it rained, so we're going to have to try and make up some gap positions here in the field. First one being Adam, he's on the softs, so going to get this move done. I have the worst turn one in history. I'm not sure. I guess my part of me was just I want to leave space just in case, but I ended up really overcooking it. So, anyways, thankfully I had the grip on the tires to keep with it. So lap 13 then, rain yet to come, but it is coming very, very soon. And here's American D. He's had to be careful getting by. He's going to go defensive, so I'm going to stick to the race. And I have DRS, have overtake, have fuel. And so into turn one, leaving the space. See that? Leaving the space on the left hand side just in case. But he didn't go up through that door and break anything. So we get that move done, and we move up into P9 then. And so Steve is in front, and Steve is, I believe, on old supers. I think he may have, I don't know if he pitted after lap one or not, but obviously with a disadvantage after his issues, but I think he did pitch by this stage. He would have to, sure. He wouldn't have lost that much time at turn one without making a pit stop. So lap 16, I believe, has the rain actually begun to fall now? I think it may have. But anyway, lap 18, you see we're 3 seconds slower in the through two sectors, so it's getting close. It's getting closer to intermediates. So, but before that though, Steve and who was the other person that came in? Was it Dan? It was Dan. They decided to, and Carl for that matter, they all decided to jump in onto the inters that lap. And I thought that was a bit too soon. 4 seconds, using 4 seconds a lap. That's not quite intermediate territory yet. You need to wait a little bit more than that. In the process of this, Dan had an incident somewhere, and Sway disconnected, so a lot of things kind of happened between kind of my incident and then this part of the race, this part of the rain. So this lap though was a lap, I had a feeling that it would be one more lap after that lap, because it was it was only lap 19 now, and lap 18 it was 4 seconds between the difference between the fastest laps. So I knew this lap was going to be a tough one, because I think yeah, this could be the one. So I thought one more lap and I should be able to do it. So limp it around here in this lap. This is the in lap, by the way, because the conditions did kind of worsen, but only this decision was made only after this point here. So you see what the split is to sector 2 and 5 seconds. So you kind of do the maths as such. 5 seconds through 2 sectors. Forget the third sector. Whatever time you lose there, not too much because it's mostly flat out, but you have to lift a bit of that cost as well. But you also take into account then, so that's basically 6 or so seconds you're slower than your fastest lap. Add one more lap to that and you're getting a bit too close. So I thought this is a lap to pit. So I know that some of the people have the same idea as well. I think Sway's in here as well. So Swanee was in the pits, but thankfully I didn't get held too bad. Barely at all. I thought maybe not, I might not even lost maybe a second or something. But I knew I made the right decision. And then coming out of the pit lane when this the DRS has been disabled. Is this disabled now or coming out of the pits? It's very, very soon. But the thing is here, we're going to overcut Steve thanks to that extra lap out when it wasn't quite time to pit for the wets, and there you go, DRS disabled just as we're exiting, and that's perfect timing. So I've timed that absolutely perfectly. The problem is now is it's coming much earlier than I anticipated, so I ran with a mostly dry setup, and most importantly 8 ballasts. A couple of guys coming into the pits here. Mercandies was one. I'm not sure who the other one is. Maybe Adam. Most importantly though, I'm running 8 ballast, and now this 8 ballast is a real issue in the wet. And my lessons have been learned. If there's any hint of rain, first of all, it's going to come sooner than you expect. But here's a couple of important things there. So Steve for tires, and then Dartbolt for tires. He bins it through sector 2 there. So, but with 8 ballast, I've learned that if there's any hint of rain, A, it's going to come earlier than you think, and B, don't use 8 ballast. Just don't do it. So that puts us in P7. We're 6 seconds behind Sway, and we're about 8 or so seconds behind of Dan, who was on 7 ballast and did end up catching me here. He's lap 31. Here's the key though, he was much quicker, and he would have driven away from me had it been he got by me, but I got such great drive out of Jun Sao that he couldn't do anything, and I'm running 2.8 wings during this wet session, so I'm running more straight line speed, which means even though I'm absolutely horrific through the middle sector, I get a good run again and again and again out of the final sector, and he can't do anything about it. So this is lap 35. This is the last lap now. Sway has got by Carl. Carl's at P5, and so the gap has been coming down. He's been struggling. I'm not enjoying this. And the tyres. The other thing is that the tyres also got quite nasty these last few laps. As we all trying to limp home to the end. Take a real careful look at the curve of the stall. This is where Dan had one advantage. If he got close enough coming out of the curve of the stall, I think he would have got me, because he was much quicker on the exit. I wasn't confident to put down the throttle. Dan decided he was going to go for it this lap. I'm like, please don't. So heading up to here, this is a suicidal place to go down the inside, like squeeze that car down like that. Anyways, in the dry, never mind the wet, and I wasn't too happy about this. This attempt. I knew he had 2 seconds of penalties. I had no warnings, but I had forgotten I had picked up a 3-second penalty from the incident with Stephen, or with Scuba there. Stephen is Scuba, by the way, if you didn't know. So I completely forgot that, but I just assumed I didn't have a penalty because I had no warnings in this race. But I managed to maintain it. I don't know if Dan backed off, probably did. So Matt, a long time ago, has won. Scuba was second, and Joe finished third. Starting on the mediums outside the top 10, the stars aligned. A lot of issues went wrong for a lot of people, and helped them get to a podium. So it's sixth place in the end, which it's look, I firmly believe that would have been a podium at the very least. I think had things worked out a little bit better. You can see I was surprised. At the end of the race, kind of why I had got penalties. Like, oh, look at that lap time between the softs and the supers. The lap I had that incident, I got a penalty. You can see no warnings the rest of the way either. So with the incident itself, look, it's not Scuba's fault. It's more so the track. The game has reset him right onto the racing line, and that's obviously it's fight or flight in that moment. And I just chose to fly. I wasn't going through that. I wasn't powering through. I don't have it's not about having balls to go through at that stage. Like, it's whether or not the car goes or not, and if you can't, you just don't know. So I thought I reacted fine for what I did, but there's nothing you can really do about it. So that's it for round 4 of DNS. Next up is USA Kota. So looking forward to that one. Hopefully I can bounce back from this one. But yeah, until next time.